Okay, so this is my Arduino Space Invaders game, and a quick overview before we start. This is the Arduino Mini, which controls the whole thing. This is an 8x8 LED matrix, which is the main display, and these are your shield indicator lights, which I'll get to in a second. This is your controller. It has a fire button, a shield button, and an accelerometer to let you go left and right and up and down. So now for game mechanics. Essentially, you are going to be the ship at the bottom of the screen, which I'll turn on in just a second. And you have to, or you can go left and right, up and down, and you have to shoot the enemies coming down from the top. And you also have a shield, which you can activate with this white button, and I'm going to show you how that works. So here's the shield. Notice it dims once you get hit once because the shield can take 2 hits before it fails. So see, now the shield fails and I die. So this is the score in binary. So my score was 2, and the score is calculated by the number of enemy movements from the top divided by some constant, which I think is 8. Can't remember off the top of my head. So let's try it again. So to regenerate shields, so I drop my shield, you can shoot enemies and your shield will regenerate, or you can just wait a certain amount of time. I forget what the time is, but if you wait, they will regenerate. So that's the basic game mechanics. You just try to stay alive as long as possible, which is not always as easy as it sounds. So here I had 4 points. So that's how the game works. A little bit about how the software works. I have a pretty basic game clock system that runs the whole game, and that game clock is stepped by an interrupt. I believe is interrupt 2. So the game clock controls literally everything. So the player movement, the bullet movement from the top, or the enemy movement from the top, the player bullet movement, and the shield timing. So everything has its own timer that runs off of the game clock. So the 8x8 LED matrix is controlled with a raster scan, or lit with a raster scan, and that's also driven off the interrupt so that I don't have to move the display update code into my main game logic. And in order to do half brightness, the half bright pixels only are displayed every other raster scan. So it'll do a scan and light all the pixels, and then it'll do a scan and light only the light pixels, and then it'll repeat. So that gives the illusion of half brightness to the human eye. And I think that's about it. All this code will be available for download in the description below or on my website. Thanks for watching. And one thing I forgot to mention is if you have your shields up, you can't fire. So no cheap shots.